I passed the Palo Alto Networks Security Operations Generalist certification. With this certification, I have completed 4 of the 8 available Palo Alto Networks certifications in the new role-based certification framework. I have both of the foundational level certifications and now both of the generalist level certifications. If you remember, the previous certification that I completed was the network security generalist, which focused on network security as a whole, as well as implementing network security with Palo Alto Networks network security products, which it classifies as Strata. At Palo Alto Networks, we classify our security operations products as Cortex. So the security operations generalist exam covers these Cortex products. But just like the network security generalist exam, the security operations generalist certification covers theoretical topics. Specifically, it divides its topics into 5 parts. The first 2 are theoretical. First is fundamentals, and then you get into threat intelligence and incident response. The next 3 are specific to Palo Alto Networks products. The products are XDR, XSOAR, and XSIAM. If you're familiar with Palo Alto Networks Cortex, you may notice that Expanse is missing from this list, but Expanse is built into Cortex XSIAM, where XSIAM is a security platform that covers all of the capabilities of XSOAR, XDR, and Expanse in a single revolutionary platform security operations tool. So you will cover a lot of the attack surface management, and it is important to know that as well. I'm going to go through what it was like for me to take the exam and how I prepared for it, and you'll get to see a few clips of me at the exam location as well. So let's start the video. Today is January 26th. It is Sunday, and last week I scheduled myself for the next of the exams, which is the Security Operations Generalist exam. I didn't have any time to study. I was super duper swamped last week, so I have not studied yet, and I am 2 days away from the exam, so I need to get started. As you can see here, I am registered on Tuesday, like I said, in the morning. I am not doing it at the Florida State College Deerwood. I'm actually going to the Kent campus this time. Still another part of FSCJ. So I'm really thankful to all these academic institutions for their Pearson VUE centers that allow us to take these exams. But I'll be taking that exam on Tuesday. I'm hoping to get as much studying today and tomorrow as I can. I have looked at the data sheet as well as the Beacon course just to get a general idea of where I'm at. And what I'll say is I have a lot of things to review. I am pretty weak on XDR and XSIAM. So I'm still pretty weak on Expanse. I'm not worried about anything XSOAR. For those who don't know my background, I have a lot of hands-on experience with Cortex XSOAR, formerly known as Demisto, and its updates. I've passed the PCSAE, the Security Automation Engineer, twice, and I was one of the first people to pass it the first time. I'm not as worried about that. What I am worried about is those other products, the endpoint product and Expanse, as well as Palo Alto has a new security operations platform, which is it's really a new concept. It's not really an endpoint or a SIM or any of that. It's this new concept of having an entire security operations platform all in one, and that it brings those 3 pillars together of attack surface management, endpoint, and orchestration automation into a single functioning platform. And XSIAM, I have some hands-on experience with it. I've done demos for customers and things like that, but I don't have a ton of experience with exactly how the product works and all the different menus and things. So I will need to review that as well. So I'm going to take all the courses that I can in Beacon, skip over everything XSOAR because I'm limited on time and I'm pretty comfortable with that. And so, yep, time for me to begin studying. It is 8:12 a.m. exam day. My test is at 9:15, so it's in just over an hour. I need to get leaving soon, but I just wanted to record this to talk a little bit about what I've done to study. I do feel the least prepared for the certification of any of the ones that I've taken. I only managed to take the XDR courses in Beacon. There were only like 4 lessons there, so it wasn't too much. I took those last night, and this morning I managed to take one XIM lesson on the XIM endpoints. From Beacon, it looks like there is a lot of theoretical security operations knowledge. And for those who don't know, my background was providing security operations solutions to the Space Force. So I have a lot of knowledge about security operations that I learned in the military. I also do security operations in the Air National Guard. So maybe some of that will help. We've also been taking a lot of classes at Palo Alto lately, a lot of lessons. We had to do a 6-month flight program with dozens of hours of lessons about our various products, including the Cortex products. So maybe some of that will help. We'll see. I don't know what the test is going to be like exactly, but I will let you know. I scheduled this exam bright and early today, and right before I have to go to California for my Air National Guard duty. That is coming up soon, but I should probably get going. I got to take my dog out. Then I will pick up some coffee before heading to take the test. So I will see you soon. I'm here at the Kent campus of the Florida State College, Jacksonville, and I did just pass my Security Operations Generalist exam. There were certainly a lot of theoretical questions, things related to just the overall processes and roles of a security operations center, so certainly something to take note of. Definitely some pretty in-depth questions as well on the different products, on XIM, XDR, XOR. I did the test really fast, did it in like 30 minutes. I think honestly, compared to the NetSec Generalist, a lot of these questions were a lot more straightforward, and so you either kind of knew them or you didn't, but that made it a lot easier. So you don't really have to worry too much about picking the right answer. I think they were just really straightforward. You either knew the answer or you didn't. But walking back to my car, got to get ready for my military orders, and I will make the rest of this video. I recorded that video over 4 weeks ago. Like I mentioned in the video, I had to go do a week of military orders, and then after that week of military orders, I quickly found out that I needed to do an additional 2 weeks. So I actually came back to my job here at Palo Alto Networks just for a week. Then in that week I was very busy. I wasn't able to do a lot of video editing. And then I went on another 2 weeks for a training course that I had to do for the Air National Guard. While I was there, I did make a video about my service in the Air National Guard, and I talk a little bit specifically about some of the work we do in cyber. I have a link to that video here in the corner, so check that out. Before I talk a little bit more about the Security Operations Generalist exam, I wanted to ask you all for something. I have recently been working with a nonprofit called the Kauai Economic Development Board. The Kauai Economic Development Board is trying to build a strong base, a strong pool of talent in Hawaii for specifically cybersecurity jobs. And to do this, they're going to run a training cohort which will give industry standard training, specifically in cybersecurity, to young adults and high school seniors who apply. If you know any young adults or high school seniors who either live in Hawaii or are outside Hawaii but consider Hawaii home and may be interested in applying to this in order to break into cyber, please direct them to www.hawaiicyberproject.com. That's www.hawaiicyberproject.com. I don't know about you all, but I am so thankful that I had the opportunity to get into cybersecurity. I am extremely blessed and lucky to have the career that I have. And I really couldn't have done it without the training that I received. Mine was specifically through the military, but I hope that this training from the Kauai Economic Development Board will help these young professionals break into cyber, and not only will they get great jobs, but they'll be protecting our digital way of life, just like we say here at Palo Alto Networks. So please, if you know anybody from Hawaii who might be interested in breaking into cyber and doing a cyber training program, please direct them to www.hawaiicyberproject.com. Okay, let's talk more about the Security Operations Generalist certification. As I mentioned in the video clip previously, the Security Operations Generalist certification had a lot of straightforward questions, and I was able to answer a lot of the things pretty quickly. A lot of them were types of questions that you either knew them or you didn't, and that was generally my experience. I do have a lot of experience in security operations myself. For those who don't know, I worked supporting the security operations centers within the United States Space Force before I joined Palo Alto Networks. So a lot of the theoretical stuff that I talked about, specifically related to threat intelligence, incident response, and also the fundamentals within the first two sections, if you look at the data sheet, are things that I'm very familiar with. One area where I am weaker and where I did have a lot of questions that tripped me up were on XDR. I did study a lot of XIM leading up to the exam, and I also had to do a lot of XIM within my job. So those questions, some of them I did know the answer to, and since it was the generalist level certification, I think that also helped that the questions weren't too difficult. And of course, all the XOR questions, due to my strong background with XOR and having passed the PCSAE twice, I found to be generally pretty straightforward, and I think I knew all of them. So who is this certification for? Well, I actually think before you start breaking into any of the specialist certifications or anything like that, this certification does a really good job of just tying together how all these different Palo Alto Networks products meet into a general security operations use case and meet into the processes of security operations. I think that the things that you learn here, while they will be similar to something that you might learn in like a security operations management course from GIAC or something like that, they're still valuable, and it does provide sort of augmenting information into something like that. For someone who is trying to break into security operations, I really would look into the certification, especially if you know that you're going to be using Palo Alto products, and most especially if you're using either XIM or multiple Palo Alto products. I would really recommend looking into this certification and seeing if the items in the data sheet are things that align with your specific job role. It will help you generally understand what are the types of problems that you're trying to solve with security operations. What is a security operations center? What are the different roles and processes of a security operations center? And then how do the Palo Alto Networks Cortex products, which are focused on security operations, fit into that problem set? So for a lot of security operations engineers or even managers and architects, this would be a good certification. It would probably be better for people like managers who aren't going to be in the weeds with the specific products, but maybe want to generally know what those products do and how they work, than for the person who's actually going to be implementing the product. Then that manager, managers need to be kind of generalists, unfortunately, sometimes. But if that manager is heavy into Palo Alto Networks products, they'll have a general idea of how everything works, and studying the certification will help them do their jobs. So hopefully that's helpful. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Always looking forward to all of your feedback. Thanks again for watching, as always, and I will see you next time.